Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're gonna talk about, guess what? What we have in this table here? We have some seeds. This is clearly an apple and that is an orchid pod. Believe it or not, it's that small. I'll give some close-ups and I will talk a little bit about orchid seeds and how to germinate them. If that's the type of content you'd like to see here, give this video a thumbs up. Why not subscribe to my channel and follow me here for more content? So let's start. So how I obtain this seed? So this is a Paphiopedilum, the Pinocchio seed. I didn't realize that I had a pod in there. I had a flower a long time ago. These are sequential bloomer type of orchids, so it will bloom one flower after another flower. This flower faded and there was a brown pod in there for a while, and I only realized it today. So I thought it would be a good video to show you what orchids are, how they look like, how they sprout in nature. So let's explore this subject. So to start, why I have an apple here? Because I think this apple would be a great example. Most plants, they have an endosperm. What is an endosperm? Endosperm is the food supply of the seeds. So the seeds, for them to germinate, we need to have something around them, like here, that will keep them alive and also will help them to germinate in nature. So what we eat, the part that we eat from the apple, is the endosperm of the seeds. If you leave it, let's pretend this apple was on the floor. So what will happen is, with time, when the apple starts to degrade, everything that's around here is going to start to be used by the seeds. The seeds will use all the nutrients and they will sprout. With orchid seeds, this doesn't happen because these seeds, they don't have an endosperm. So they are very tiny. They are like 0.3 millimeters or 0.8 millimeters without anything to protect them. They are very thin. They look like they are dust. So, because they don't have anything to protect them and to feed them, they cannot sprout on their own. Let me open these seeds here. I'm very close to you. If I'm not able to show you, I will definitely show you some B-rolls. So that's my pod. If I decide to open this pod, what I have inside is tiny dusty. It's something that is making my tissue paper dirty. That's the orchid seeds. There are a ton of orchid seeds inside this pot. However, this is very tiny and cannot survive on its own. It can be easily dispersed by the wind, which is a very clever way for these orchids to be spread around. For orchids that grow in their natural environment, the only way for them to grow without having this endosperm is to create a relationship with a fungus. So they will work together for the first stage of growth. What these orchid seeds do is that they will rely on this species of fungi. They will work together. The fungi will give all of the nutrients that the seeds need until we have a seedling, and then the orchid will not need the fungi anymore and will start growing alone. So there is a biological name for this type of dependence that these orchid seeds have with this fungi, but I'm not gonna come into it. I'll leave some articles down below so you can check if you want to. But from the moment that they can produce chlorophyll, they will be able to survive on their own. However, all the orchids that we see in supermarkets today, they were produced in labs. They were not produced here. So for all these beauties that we see in supermarkets today, they were created in lab. So they did not start their relationship as microheterotrophs, depending on the fungi. So how they germinated? They were germinated using agar or agar I would say in Portuguese, agar-agar. Gel, that's the way that you put in little plates. You have a completely sterile environment, and then you place the seeds in there, and they will keep feeding these seeds until they become seedlings and become completely mature plants. That's why they are able to create a ton of different type of plants in labs nowadays to germinate them, and you can find a variety of orchids for sale. But for you to do that at home, it's not as simple as it looks like. I cannot recreate a symbiotic relationship between my plant and some fungi that I might have inside my home. I also don't have a completely sterile environment, and it's a difficult process. I'm not going to try to replicate that. There are other videos, you can look for them if you want to try to recreate some sort of lab and plant your seeds. But if you decide just to throw these seeds on top of some mix, the chances are that nothing will sprout from it. So, like trying to obtain seedlings from orchid pods inside your home is a very difficult process and require lots of research, investigation. It's not as easy as other plants that we have in here that you can just pop on the soil and then you're gonna have a tiny plantlet sometime soon. With orchids, as I showed you, the process is a little bit different, but nonetheless, when we talk about evolution, they were quite successful. They created so many orchids out there. There are species of orchids almost everywhere on this planet. So, although we cannot do that inside our homes, nature works on it perfectly. Let's conclude this video with an experiment. That's some sort of experience that I don't think will work out, but it's a nice way to show you what can happen. I have this glass pot full of live moss, and I have a tiny division that's here forever. That's a, oh my gosh, philodendron, verrucosum, I think. There is something sprouting here, but this has been here forever. And there is still something alive, so I will keep holding to this division here. And what I'm gonna do, as you're gonna see now, I'm gonna use this seed pod. I will just place it here on my live moss. Let's see. Da-da-da-da. I'm not even worried. It's very tiny, tiny, tiny. You wouldn't be able to see anything. It's like dust, literally dust. So let's put all the dust that we have in here. All the dust. Imagine if I have tiny paphiopedilums in the future. I doubt, but I don't think it will happen. But this is my pot with my live moss. And I have here a lid. I will close it and I will let it be, as I do with a ton of other plants. However, let's be honest. What are the chances that something will sprout from it? Tiny, 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 very close to zero. If something happens to it in the future, I'll let you know. Something important before I go is that to let you know that when you see seeds for sale, especially saying that these are orchid seeds, don't believe them. Because, as I said, orchid seeds, they should be very, very thin and tiny like dust. If it's not like that, it's not real orchid seed. And before you try to propagate orchids with seeds, do your research, see how you can do that inside your home, how can you create a sterile environment, and then you might be successful. It's worth researching, as I said and mentioned before. So that was everything that I want to show you today. I hope you enjoy seeing my orchid pod, and if I have something sprouting from here in maybe a year time, I will show you. But more than that, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, leave a comment down below, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.